in Varjo. He will talk about. He will talk now about his business and the business at Varjo. Ville, go ahead.
Yes, excited to. Thank you, and super nice to be here. I hope you've had a good day this far. And as said, I'm going to speak about a mixed reality and collaboration.
Just a moment. I'm sorry, Dragan. Can you stop your shares screen sharing, please?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. I'll share my screen and let's see if we can get this working. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. Hey, yeah, great to be here. So I'm Ville Leppälä. I'm the vertical lead for the research and healthcare business of Varjo Technology, so based in Helsinki. We're a company fully focusing for professional virtual mixed reality. And today I'm going to talk a bit about the new era of collaboration in mixed reality. But I'd like to start first on kind of the traditional thinking of collaboration in XR. So traditionally, I think most of us, when imagining what does collaboration look like in VR or XR, it's typically like a cartoonish environment where you see lots of avatars and it's like a game-like environment. And that obviously works, but it's not something that we're looking at, but we're more focusing on kind of really professional scenarios and human eye resolution environments where really professionals work and collaborate together. But just to the beginning, I'd like to recap the Varjo's products. So I don't know, are you all familiar with these or not, but just a quick recap. So as said, we're working with mixed reality and virtual reality. Our mixed reality product is a video pass-through based headset, the XR1. So this is a headset that's the world's first photorealistic mixed reality device. So it really makes it possible for you to combine the surrounding world with the virtual interaction in everything in a human eye level resolution and visual fidelity. Then for the VR side, we do have the Varjo VR2 Pro device. So that's again a human eye resolution level virtual reality device. So not mixed reality, but something exciting that can be brought into the scene is your hand. So it has a built-in hand tracker. So all the interactions can be done with their hands, and it obviously works as an input method as well. And then thirdly, there's the Varjo VR2 device, which is then it's kind of the traditional VR side. So no hands or mixed reality, but again a human eye resolution level that makes it possible to see in the smallest details, and obviously all of our devices comes also with a 20/20 eye tracking technology, so super accurate eye tracker. So as you can see also the prices here. So professional products, not the cheapest products as well, but neither are our customers. So all of our customers work with the most demanding applications, and in practice we've divided our business into 3 verticals. One is focused to design and engineering. The second one is related to training and simulation applications. And then the third one is focused for research and medical use cases. What's then my area of expertise? And all of these are quite in the center when talking about collaboration. So collaboration is the key in all of these. And to think in practice, what is collaboration here in design and engineering? I think a great example is design reviews. So many of our customers are doing design reviews with the Varjo products, meaning that they're actually creating virtual models out of their designs and reviewing those through the Varjo technology. So for the first time through Varjo, they're actually able to see even the smallest details, and obviously thinking of design reviews, it's always a collaborative use case. So this means that now as the models are virtual, they can also do this remotely, as it doesn't require any physical place to have the model. So around this area, for example, Volvo, Audi are our big customers on the automotive side. Then secondly, on the training and simulation side, obviously there's lots of industries in this, but as you see in the picture, pilot training is one of the key areas for us. So this varies from kind of the first steps from classroom training to then into many other areas, and I think here the benefit is quite clear. So traditionally pilot training has been made with these $10 million domes, which obviously are super big, super heavy, and cannot be really moved anywhere. So really difficult to maintain and obviously really expensive. And now for the first time, we've been able to replace some of these domes with a virtual reality technology. So for the first time now, pilots who train can create virtual reality training simulations where they can see even the smallest details of the cockpit. And obviously now this means that also the unit costs of one trainer has dropped quite massively, and this has now enabled scale, and obviously this again makes it possible to collaborate. So how to fly with your co-pilot and so on and so forth. I do have a couple of examples of this later on, so I'll show you this. And then lastly, related to research and medical, this is also a wide field, but again, these are really collaborative fields. So for example, now it's possible to visualize medical images in a really high visual fidelity. And obviously at the time of COVID, you cannot really consult your colleagues in the same room as you probably want to minimize the infection risk and such, and that's why we'll be, for example, working now with a couple of customers on really interesting cases to enable remote team meetings. So one example is a case of a heart team meeting set up where they want to discuss the patient cases remotely and bring in the high fidelity models in the center of the discussion. So I think what's what's in the core of the thinking is that as mentioned just with the cases, so collaboration equals to scale. So typically when our customers start working with Varjo, they first purchase maybe 1 or 2 headsets and start validating the technology. So they validate the technology, and once they're happy, they typically proceed to the next steps and start maybe building the use case and the content and so on and so forth. And always the first steps are individuals working with the tech. But then when all these first steps are successful, obviously the professional customers then go forward and they start to implement these into workflows. And always when going to this implementation phase, it always requires collaboration. So thinking of the design reviews, thinking of the training scenarios or medical use cases, they always require collaboration when taking this into scale. And so in the sense, we say that collaboration enables scaling. Right, but let's still take a quick recap on Varjo's technology. So there's a couple of things that we brought into the center, and these really enable our customers to succeed in their business. So the first is the bionic display. So that's a display technology that we worked on 3 years to really make it possible to start showing content in a human eye resolution. So the bionic display makes it possible to show content in a resolution that's 60 pixels per degree, which is considered as equivalent to a human 20/20 eyesight. Then secondly, we built in an eye tracker that's embedded to all the devices, and this makes it possible to track the users, track, for example, the trainee performance during the trainings, and create a feedback system for the training to actually guide the trainees into the right direction and kind of find the errors and help to develop. Then on the mixed reality side, as mentioned already earlier, we've invented the video pass-through, ultra low latency video pass-through technology that finally makes it possible to create a photorealistic mixed reality where you cannot anymore see what's real or what's not in the scene, and finally create extremely immersive situations where you actually operate with physical objects and still have the virtual interaction. And then lastly, hand tracking, which is one of the keys to create super intuitive user interfaces and let people to select things and interact with their own hands without the need for physical controllers. So in practice, how does, for example, the bionic display look like? So I have here a picture. This is a photograph that we've taken from a consumer level device. So it's like a Vive Pro type of device with 14 pixels per degree, and this is from a Audi driver's seat. So this is a photograph that we've taken through the virtual reality device, and the scene is an Audi interior. And as you can see, it's rather difficult to see any of the texts or the textures in the scene, and thus it's rather hard to use this as a professional tool for designing cars. But here I do have a comparison photo from the same scene, but through a Varjo headset. And as you can see, it's quite a big difference, and the text and textures are finally readable, and now for the first time you can actually start working in this environment. Another comparison, this is from a Bombardier aircraft cockpit. Again, really hard to see anything through a consumer level headset, and then following a comparison shot from a Varjo headset, and really now makes it possible to start operating there. And this is the key why, for example, surgeons use our devices for these surgeon training sessions. So a company called Osgenic is for example using the Varjo technologies to create orthopedic open surgeries. And as said, the first step is always to kind of train individually, but then when taking this further, it's always a matter of collaboration. So how does the for example the operating room team work together, and so on and so forth. So first always enabling the exact professional case, and then expanding that into collaboration. This is a really exciting example actually from yesterday. So not related to medical, but related to space. So we yesterday just launched a collaboration with Boeing, the Starliner program. So Boeing is now using the Varjo headsets to train their astronauts to prepare for the full space flight. And so Varjo now makes it possible for astronauts to train these complex procedures. And what's exciting here is that they do this actually remotely. So again, first we've enabled the professional use case here. So Varjo is the only device that makes it possible to see even the smallest details in the capsule. But as we're working in the time of COVID and so on and so forth, they wanted to do this remotely, so the astronauts are not actually even always in the same place, but they can participate into these trainings from their homes, and finally do this really fluently as we're working virtually. Architecture. So I think mixed reality collaboration is super exciting here. It's slightly different to the automotive examples that I gave earlier. So in architecture, typically the architects might want to show the designs to the customers, and through mixed reality they can actually combine the human interaction, so they can be with a team in a room, but then through mixed reality they can then augment the building or the building design around, and show what the future design could look like. And obviously the difference here is that it's not always or the customers are not always that tech savvy, but they actually might be people who haven't ever used these technologies, and that's why it really needs to work and look good. On the pilot training side, as mentioned, for the first time ever, pilot training can be done in virtual reality, as it's possible now to see all the details of the cockpit in the virtual reality headset. So as mentioned earlier, these trainings have been done in really expensive dome simulators, but now the Varjo technology has really made it possible to bring down the costs into next to nothing, basically, compared to the old systems. And finally, this makes it now possible to scale the training and start collaborating. So thinking of kind of the pilot training continuum, the first step is obviously typically virtual reality. So in the first steps, the trainees are getting introduced to the cockpit. They are maybe touching the buttons and learning where are all the controls. So that's kind of the classroom part where they get introduced. But then when going a bit further away, obviously it's really important to start testing the controls and the throttles and getting the real haptic feedback. And that's why there is then mixed reality. So the Varjo XR1 in pilot training makes it possible to create scenarios where you actually control the things, touch the buttons, but still get the virtual interaction. So this is a video from Bohemia Interactive, our partner, who has created a Apache helicopter simulator. So in this case, there's actually a real mock-up cockpit around the trainee. So all the metal parts you see are real, but then everything basically that's outside of the window shields are then typically virtual interaction. So it's like a full experience where you see your hands, where you can touch all the buttons, but still you get the virtual interaction and all the feedback. So as I said, a full experience with a cost of next to nothing compared to the traditional systems. And then when expanding this into the collaboration case, obviously you can then start to train with your teammates, with the other aircrafts, and as said, as we're working in VR or XR, this actually made really easy. So you can easily share the same scene, and as you can see, this is running on DCS World, a quite well-known flight simulator software. Thinking of the medical side, again, the same story. So first, we're enabling the most demanding use cases. So here's a total knee arthroplasty simulation that's made possible now with the Varjo technology. So with this, you can see the smallest details in the surgeon simulation. And once this first is enabled, it's really easy to expand into collaboration. So this is a software made by Orama VR, our partner, and as said, you can train in a virtual world and get constant updates and feedback from the training, and also errors, as you can see. But then they also have enabled collaboration. So as we can see probably next, okay, so there's also a eye tracking implementation. So that's something that I added. No, it's next, yes, this video. So obviously this is easy then to expand into collaboration. So here's a built-in collaboration possibility in Orama VR, where a whole operating room team is working together with the operation, and as said, this is really easy to expand into into even a remote scenario as working virtually. A bit about the key technologies around mixed reality. So it's not something that comes let's say easily. So there's quite a lot of technology making possible to create these scenarios. So the first thing that I'd like to mention is the Varjo markers, so visual marker technology that makes it possible to anchor things into the real world. So as you can see in the video, we're anchoring a aircraft display into the visual marker, and obviously in these collaboration cases, it's really easy to for example share these virtual objects and anchor them into the same place for everyone participating with these markers. Then secondly, there's this chroma key. So we built in a real-time green screening, and this makes it now possible to actually do a full body presence into a virtual scenario. So you can be in a green room with your colleagues, and the green is basically augmenting the virtual around you, but still you can see your colleagues and yourself fully occluded into the room. And then finally hand tracking. So let's see if I can play the video here. Yes. So again, a possibility to interact intuitively with your own hands, and obviously this brings quite a lot more into the collaboration scenarios, as well as you can actually do things to the virtual objects with your own hands and do these things also collaboratively. And this is also possible for the mixed reality side. So also being in the real world, seeing the whole room around you, but still touching the virtual objects with your own hands and interacting with them. Right, but now I'd like to talk the last minutes about the latest updates for the collaboration side. So we've just recently launched a collaboration with the Meeting VR platform. So for the first time ever, Meeting VR is now making it possible to collaborate in a human eye resolution mixed reality environment. And Volvo is one of our key customers or key pilot customers into this. So I'll actually next show you a quick live demonstration that's recorded, but was just recorded for this session. So I'll now close this sharing, and I'll open a video. So just a second. Hadn't time to embed it into this, unfortunately, but you should be able to see it soon. Just a second. Are you able to see it?
Yeah, it's okay.
Perfect. For some reason, it's a small window only, but I hope it's still visible
Fine.
for you.
Yeah.
So right, so Meeting VR now makes it possible to collaborate, create a collaboration in photorealistic mixed reality. And as said, now we're demoing here, and why we like Meeting VR, it's an extremely humane platform. So as you can see here, You can shake hands. Now we've also brought in a full model of a Volvo car here. So as you can see, it's a human eye resolution model. And also the power of human eye resolution is quite big. So into the collaboration, you can easily bring in your standard documents. So you can use all the same documentation as you would do normally, as you're actually able to see even the smallest details through the display. This is something that really makes it easy to, for example, create sales demos virtually, as you don't need to create all new assets, but actually use the ones that you've been already using earlier. As you can see, it's really easy also to interact with the modules or the videos, so you can easily resize them and interact with them. But obviously you can also interact with the modules. So here next, going inside the Volvo car and sketching things. So this is now an example of how could you possibly do a interactive design review session. So discussing about some of the car interior features and seeing whether it's good or not. So meeting via collaboration, and actually there's right now a promotion. So all the Varjo headset purchases will include a 6-month free access to the Meeting VR platform for up to 5 users. Right, but that's now mixed reality, new era for collaboration, and at this point I'd like to welcome all questions.
Thank you very much, Ville. It's really impressive what we are doing in Varjo, particularly the high quality. I believe this is the best quality headset currently on the market. To be honest, I never had the chance to test it, but the price is really also high. So my question is, do you think to have intermediate level headset for the big market, for example, in let's say in the range of $500 price? Because in our experience here in SSVAR, you have few customers, and it's even this price, for example, which is the price of Oculus Quest, make a problem when you have to scale this, for example, for 20 participants. For example, we have a class with 20 students, and they should buy 20 headsets.
Mm-hmm. Right. So our approach into the whole business and into the scene is obviously quality. So we want to enable even the most demanding use cases, and obviously still quality means a slightly higher price than kind of the cheapest device on the market. Obviously we see that over the time technology will be developing, and for sure it will be also pushing the prices down over time. But as I said, we're fully focusing on the value that we can create and quality that enables that.
Okay, thank you. I have another question. I work very often as a consultant in an eye tracking company, and I'm particularly interested from the eye tracking technology. And my question is, let's say, what you think about this technology, of the future of this technology? or what is the importance of this technology in all this environment of the headsets where we have a lot of sensors, a lot of stuff. So we all know the story about Magic Leap and more or less what they are doing for what eye tracking. People say also it's very interesting to improve the quality because you can have higher rendering in the place where the user is looking. But apart of these two cases, do you think there are another application of the eye tracking?
Yes. So yeah. So obviously, foveated rendering is something that will come, and I think that's the key for achieving great visual fidelities with sufficient GPU load. So that's obviously important. But right now, thinking of the eye tracker use case is obviously in training. It's important. So assessing the training performance. For example, in pilot training, the trainees are following in real time. Where are the trainees looking at? Are they doing correct scan paths? And with this, they can really create like a closed feedback loop and give immediately feedback to the trainees. But then besides that, there's also super exciting cases on the medical and research side. So use cases related to ophthalmology. So you can, for example, diagnose certain medical conditions with eye tracking. So it's a technique that's been used for decades for this stuff, and obviously virtual reality makes things much more flexible as you don't need any more fixed heavy setups with 2D screens and such, but you can actually do it compactly in one. So those are a couple of examples of the use cases.
Yeah, excellent.